Belongs to the category of those historical cities that were the capitals of famous empires, conserving traces of its past glory over the centuries. It has archaeological relics that give it the merit to be the archaeological capital of South America and cultural patrimony of the world. Included among many of its monuments is Coricancha. Which means in Quechua, hole of gold, was built in honor of the sun god and was without doubt the most important temple in the area and the richest one existing in all ancient Peru. Its walls were large and decorated with swirls of gold, and the doors adorned with solid heavy metal. After the looting of this famous temple by the Spaniards, a lot of treasures were sent directly to Spain in the face of the consternation of the people of the empire. Another part of the booty was distributed among the soldiers that participated in the looting and robbing. The Coricancha Palace is known for its excellently carved stones, in which can be seen blue hues, if observed very carefully. There are niches in the walls where one can take offerings to the lesser gods. The principal niche, located in Intihuasi, or the House of the Sun, has walls covered with a layer of gold and inserted with precious gems. This niche was positioned directly where the sun rises. Therefore, practically all day long, it retains a supernatural illumination. The moon goddess, as well as other lesser gods, also had her own special cubicle in Coricancha. Now, however, the Santo Domingo convent has been built over the majestic Coricancha, although the building that is presently most famous and decorated with fabulous treasures is known to us as the Temple of the Incas, or Coricancha. Kilometers from Cusco, you can find an archaeological site called Tambo Machay, which can be translated as resting place. This site consists of two platforms, which contain a number of constructions. From the upper section falls a channel of water that is deposited in a beautiful stone pool, 8 meters square. For this reason, Tambo Machai is considered to be a place dedicated to a water cult, or a site where the Inca could take a bath. Translated as a curve, Kenko perhaps got its name from the semicircular amphitheater that surrounds the monolithic altar. Behind this theater, there is an underground tunnel that points toward Cusco. Kenko Amphitheater is believed to be a place where the high priests of the empire offered rituals for the cults. Here in Kenko, it is possible that they made sacrifices in honor of the imperial gods. There exist zigzag channels where it is believed that the priests poured sacred chicha. It is said that the priests also drank the chicha on these sacrificial occasions. When the conquistadors reached Sacsayhuaman, they remarked that it was the finest thing anyone could see. This was because its walls were built of enormous stones, and nobody could ever believe that this construction could have been made by human hands. It was also said that this construction was the best and most outstanding one that the Incas produced to show their power and majesty. This monumental work is located a few kilometers from Cusco City, and its construction took 77 years and a manpower force of between 10,000 to 30,000 men working simultaneously. coming from all of the imperial provinces. Its construction was designed by Inca Pachacutec. Construction was begun by Tapac Yupanqui and finished by Huayna Capac. 4 professional contractors directed the work consecutively. Hualparimachi Inca, Inca Marichanqui, Achahuanca Inca, and Calle Cunchui. The principal entrance wall of the fortress was constructed in a slightly concave line, and with its strategic entrances and exits, the wall spans more than 600 meters. 3 superb walls form the fortification. The first of them reaches a height of 9 meters, and its corners are formed by huge stones almost as tall as the wall itself. The second wall is 12 meters behind the first, and it is 6 meters high. The third is 5.5 meters from the second, and is 5 meters high. On top of each wall, there is a huge protective terrace with a parapet which was used to protect the fortress. Almost in the middle of each of the 3 walls, there is a stone door, so well carved that the door is closed perfectly. Over the 3 walls, you can see a long, narrow plaza with 3 towers. The main tower is called Muyukmarca, which means round fortress. The fortress has a fountain which was fed with water from beneath the ground. It is said that this place, the main tower, was a recreation place for the Inca nobility, and that the walls in this part of the fortress were adorned with golden and silver animals, birds, and plants. The second tower is called Paucarmarca, and the third, Sayacmarca. These towers were square and had many rooms, especially for the guards who belonged to the dominant class of Cusco. Here in Sacsayhuaman, on June 24th, the Inti Raymi, or the Sun Festival, is celebrated. This is the most important Inca festival, and it clearly demonstrates the knowledge of astronomy which the Incas possessed. On this day, the 24th of June, the Earth is at the point where the sun is farthest away in its translation movement. 4 kilometers square. The major part of it is occupied by artificial terraces, which facilitated the cultivation of the hills. The terraces of this type have been built on the edge of an abyss, and they follow the form of the hills. Among the ruins, the Intihuatana, which is constructed almost at the top of the hill, can be highlighted. It has large doors and many symmetrical rooms. Picturesque town of Pisac, there is a commercial art fair every Sunday where tourists can find a diversity of handcrafts in many forms of expression. The fortress, Pucará, and the cemetery, where many tombs exist, also demonstrate Inca architecture at its best. Unfortunately, these ruins have been almost destroyed by looters seeking the mythical treasures of the Incas. Among the many terraces, the best known is the one to La Mamapacha. This is practically on the level of the valley, that has a particular form of 2 breasts. Also, it is said that this figure symbolizes the recognition or homage to the fertility of the land. The course of the sacred river, the Huilcamayo, through the splendid Inca Valley, one reaches the legendary town of Ollantaytambo, which was given its name in honor of General Incaico Ollanta. Ollantaytambo, which is literally translated as Ollanta's lodge or resting place, is located 65 kilometers northwest of Cusco City. It seems that Ollantaytambo had functions of a fortress and at the same time a sacred character. As a fortress, it had to protect Cusco from the advances of the Antes tribes. They were diligent in using the natural characteristics of the land, for example the steep cliffs, to aid in defense. The walls were built at the sides of the cliffs. Because of this, it is said that few people were enough to defend Ollantaytambo. Ollantaytambo was built from stones which were removed from the shores of a river 10 kilometers away and more than 2,000 feet above the valley. The most interesting stone structure of the ruins is one which consists of 6 enormous vertical stones, slightly inclined so that they support a terrace. One can observe that the stones are a little bit separated from one another, and it can be found that they are perfectly molded together by stone spacers. In front of the main group of buildings, and on the edge of an abyss, you can find a zone called the jails. This is where they threw the condemned prisoners off of the cliff. The actual town of Ollantaytambo was built over original Inca construction. It is said the people live in a village that was originally Inca. The town conserves the footprints of the streets, plazas, and uses the water canals that were originally Inca. Identification of the Peruvian man with his medium marks the route toward the summits, with the incredible hillside to levels of dizziness extended the Andino man of Peru walking the most treacherous roads in the world. The road that goes to Machu Picchu is an example of what men can do in his fight to conquer the most difficult geographical mountains you could ever imagine. When one sees this, he can only say, "Who is able to see you from here, O great city, eternal monument, I will never forget you." It's possible, but also difficult to try and summarize this sacred city in few words. What is possible to describe is the intimate sensation, the personal psychic impact, the singular emotion that each person feels when they see this wonderful ancient Peruvian site. historians, scientists, poets, writers, intellectuals in general, the most famous visitors have developed concepts and meaningful phrases about Machu Picchu. Nevertheless, the poetic inspiration from Pablo Neruda seems to summarize all of the feelings and thoughts in his poem Machu Picchu Heights, of which we will read only a small fragment. Stars of the land I have climbed, between the atrocious complexities of the jungle, until I met you, Machu Picchu. Tall city of staircased stones, finally home of it, that the earthling not hidden in the sleeping vestments. In you, like two parallel lines, the cradle of lightning and of the man, they sway in the wind of thorns. Mother of stone, foam of the condors, tall stone, paved ditch of the human aurora, lost shovel in the first sound. This was the home. This is the place. Here the wide grains of corn ascended and descended again like red hails. Here the golden fur that left the vicuña to dress the love, the tumultuous, the mothers, the king, the prayers, the warriors. Here the men's feet rest at night, together with the eagle's feet. In the high shelters, vultures, and in the aurora, stepping the feet of thunder and rare mist. And they touch the lands and the stones until they reknow them in the night or in death. For about a half a century, it seemed this majestic sanctuary of the Incas was hidden. Protected by a mantle of natural greens, its motive of admiration for all visitors. Famous archaeological site one finds located at the top of the Machu Picchu hill in a margin of the Vilcanota River. Machu Picchu was a city constructed to lodge religious elites or military elites. It is united to the city of Cusco by a road that goes through the heights of the Vilcanota Canyon. After a long hike that lasts 3 days, now called the Inca Highway, that goes to Intipunku, or Door of the Sun, that was the entrance or access to the sanctuary, where one can see the urban zones. Of the military construction has 2 floors with a convex wall. For this they call it turret or sun temple. And there you have carved stairs of only 1 rock. Urban zone, where you can also see the mausoleum of the Inca, has an entrance that manifests the absolute domination of the stone. Machu Picchu appears not to be so remote, because the same construction follows a grade of organization and discipline that can only be attributed to the height of the era or the best design of the Incan Empire. Close to the urban zone, we can see the religious zone, with rooms that are located inside the sacred square. For example, the Temple of the 3 Windows, formed by polyhedrons placed on top of each other with extreme exactness. And here, you can see the fabulous complex known as the Intihuatana, an astronomical observatory. Where they determined the seasons of the year, the months, and the shortest and longest days of the year. In the eastern zone of Machu Picchu is found the prison areas and the courthouses of jurors and of the personnel. In the middle of a patio, you can see the figure of a condor. Close to the prisons is located the known industrial precinct. That was a zone designed for the artists who had their workshops in these places. Picchu Hill, the imposing watchguard of the city of Machu Picchu, one climbs a rigid road of winding form. This is the agricultural zone. The terraces of great extension constructed everything with a symbol efficiency and rationality. And for this, Machu Picchu is the most beautiful jewel in Peru. Its fame, always increasing, has extended to all parts of the world. It doesn't exist in any other country, nor in all of America. It is said by foreigners that there is no other monument more splendid on this planet, nor more complete than the ancient city of Machu Picchu.
What did I tell you, Henry? This little demonstration on Women's Day. We did take picture of that picture in Finland.
Has it been a dream? In any case, a dream has become real that no one will ever be able to forget. Because to visit Cusco, one can observe its monuments, speak with its people, live safely through one of the greatest experiences of life. Because also, the spirit is full of many suggestions, contemplating the beautiful handicrafts produced by popular geniuses. The artistic patrimony culture inherited from the colony. Majestic temples like the cathedral, apotheosis of the artistic crossbreeding, or the magnificent carving of San Blas's pulpit. Or the excellence of the Cuscanian paintings. And the marvels of Peru that all have produced a transculturation process, where the elements of the Andinos and the Westerners define the national personality of our country. For this, Cusco is the archaeological capital of South America, patrimony culture of the humanity, and Peru the unequaled empire of the Incas.